teaching have you stressed? Need to laugh off that disaster of a parent-teacher conference? Ready to indulge in those I wish I could say that moments? You're in luck, because you've just pressed play on the top-rated teacher comedy podcast on the planet. It's time for Crying in My Car, a podcast for teachers. Here's your host, the teacher comedian himself, Devin Siebold.
Hey. Crying in My Car podcast for teachers. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for supporting as well. Patreon.com/crying in my car. If you want to support the podcast a little bit more, I've got some shows coming up this week. Hopefully I'll see you all in Michigan or maybe Watsika, Illinois, which is just outside of Chicago. And then I've got Myrtle Beach on the way, and we've got some dates in Oviedo and Winter Park, and I don't know, all over the place. But this week is a busy week. Got a different show in every single city, in a different city every single day for 6 days. So it's gonna be exhausting.
Yeah.
But then I come back and get a little downtime, so I'm excited about that. Greg, how's life been for you, buddy?
It's been busy. Starting to get busier. COVID's kind of weird.
Yeah, COVID is weird. I was messaging. Oh, go ahead.
The numbers are going down in Florida, and it seems like people are starting to go out a little bit more. And I don't know. It's weird. You drive down the road and you're like, oh, that business is packed.
Yeah.
And you look at like Outback Steakhouse and stuff, and you're like, why are they not busy?
Yeah.
And it goes in waves, and then the next week it's another restaurant that's like packed. I don't know if there's like some online thing that's going on that's, and I had a bunch of teachers come in this week to the restaurant. Yeah. And they're like, yeah, school's, wow, it's something else. They're talking about, how stressful this year is and how they're uncertain. And I said, well, there's one thing for certain. And they said, what's that? And I said, the bar is fully open. And they ordered another round of drinks, and then there's no more talk of school.
Good. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not one of those teachers that likes going out with other teachers, especially if we're going to talk about teaching. Like, that's the last thing I want to talk about. It's like, we came to Chili's to drink and have fun and eat, not to discuss work. But there's some teachers that's all they want to discuss. They want to just talk and want to gossip and talk about the kids and all this other stuff. And I'm like, I'm the exact opposite. I'm like, hey, we're here, so let's not. When we're there, sure. But here, no.
Step into the janitor's closet so I can tell you how awful Katie's dress is.
Now, here's the thing, man. I don't know if you noticed this, but I literally messaged my buddy Tom this morning this saying. So I had a picture of him in my phone from open mics in Melbourne when we used to do shows over there.
Yeah.
And it said 4 years ago.
Yeah, that came up. It was on my birthday. We went over there and did a show together. That came up on my memory.
It seems like, and I don't know if anybody else can relate to this, but I think it's true, that we just lost like 2 years because of COVID. Like, everything that was 4 years ago seems like it was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Everything that was 6 years ago seems like it was just maybe 4 years ago or 3 years ago. It seems like when COVID happened, like, we just wiped out almost an entire year or two of our lives. Like, I don't even remember during COVID. Like, I don't even remember half that stuff. I just remember being at home and that's it. But it was like a full year that this thing was like controlling us, and even in Florida, I can imagine what it's like in other, Canada, where they've been locked down for almost 2 years now, But, you just sit there and think, like, it just seems like it literally just grabbed and took time away from our lives. Even with my kids, I looked at old pictures of my kids, and it's like 2 years ago, and I'm like, no way that's 2 years ago. And I know that growing up, the kids grow up fast and this and all that, but I'm used to seeing things on Facebook timeline where I go, yeah, 10 years ago, 8 years ago, sounds about right. And it just seems after COVID, I'm like, no way. Like, where did that lost time go?
The blurb.
Yeah. Now, I got to ask you, buddy. I don't know if you've got into it yet. I'm not going to give anything away for those people that are listening, that are watching, but have you pressed play yet on the Squid Game?
No. Angelina and I almost did it the other night.
Mm-hmm.
because we had heard a lot, and we watched the
Everyone's
trailer.
talk about it.
We watched the trailer because we didn't know what was going on. We watched the trailer, and she goes, "It's 12:05 at night. We just want to watch a quick movie, be in bed by 12 or 2:30 in the morning." She's like, "This might keep me up longer."
Well, I laid down the other night and I was like, you know what? A lot of people talking about this. Let me give it a shot. And it was real late and I was real tired. And I was like, I'll just lay down, press play, see if I make it through.
And my theory was correct, wasn't it?
I was literally calculating on my phone. I was like, so if I watch all 8 episodes tonight, I won't get any sleep, but then I can maybe nap. I was like trying to justify watching the entire thing in a night after the first episode. I was hooked.
Have you learned nothing from time management in the pandemic?
I know, man.
But you have this much time to watch this much movies. Tiger King, still haven't watched
Tiger King got me.
Still haven't watched it.
You're out of your damn mind. It's great.
Man. I spent time, that time when Tiger King came out was right around the time I started getting carpal tunnel. And I was like, crap, I can't play Call of Duty anymore. I mean, literally, when I hold the controller, about one match, like my whole entire arm and my hand is numb. So I had to find other video games where you could play, sit down for a second and be like, let me read the story. Okay. Yeah. Or whatever.
There's a few things I've gotten into, but like that one, I don't really like. I'm not binge watching anything lately. The only things I binge watched, I definitely binge watched WandaVision and Loki on Disney Plus. They were great.
Me too.
I binge watched Outer Banks. I like Outer Banks on Netflix. That's a good one. And I also watched the first season of Ozark. I'm really wanting to watch the rest because they even say that it's better. I like the first season, but they say the rest of the seasons are even better. So I got to watch that. But I haven't really watched anything lately because I've just been so busy. And every time I put it on, I'm just tired. So I just usually watch you're going to hate me for this, but I usually just throw on ridiculousness and just laugh at stupid people. I can't stand Chanel West Coast.
That show would be the greatest show on television. It would win Emmys. They would have him host the Oscars if he would get rid of that no talented bimbo. Yeah. I swear to God.
I don't understand how she gets paid. Like she
does nothing.
I know.
She does nothing for society.
Well,
she does nothing.
She just sits there and every once in a while giggles, and that's it. And I'm like, man, like she probably got paid $50,000 to sit there and giggle. She
does nothing for anything in this world.
But anyways, I watch that at night. And then usually go to bed watching stupid people do stupid things. And it makes me laugh. It's a good end of the day, a little stress relief. But I haven't really gotten into anything. But I pressed play on Squid Game, and I was sitting straight up watching the entire thing. Could not turn away. Didn't even pick up my phone. Like that's a big one. Because normally you pick up your phone while you're watching something and kind of zone out, go back into it. Didn't touch my phone. Didn't even want anything to do with it. The notifications going off, nothing. Just wanted to see what happened on that first episode. It was great. Second episode I watched was pretty good too. Now the second episode is all build up, and then it's gonna just take off. I'm ready for it. So yeah.
My Angela's working from home Tuesday. I may go over there and start watching it.
Yeah.
And then she can kind of peek as she's working.
Well, I thought it was a reality show when it first went. Like I thought it was like a real reality show. I didn't know it was an actual like sitcom thing, but it's causing a lot of problems. Like apparently, like it's causing huge problems. So not here, but I've been reading up on it. So they're really mad about it in South Korea because it's a South Korean thing that was produced there, and it's in the native South Korean language. It's just dubbed over here. Yeah. Well, apparently, it's so wildly popular over there that the government of South Korea has filed a petition against Netflix because it's like clogging all of their data like bandwidth. Like they said that it was like 700,000% more downloads or something like that across the country. And like it's pushing the like data networks to their extreme.
We have like 5 bootlegs in North Korea.
I know, well, that's the interesting thing too. It's also causing problems because, and I'm not spoiling anything. So I'm just going to tell you one thing, but it bears no weight on anything. But there's a character in it that escaped from North Korea. And she talks about getting her family back and sending them to China. Or routing them to China or routing them through South Korea and how hard that's going to be. And they're like, oh, China's friends with North Korea and all this other stuff. And apparently China is pissed that South Korea put this out, and it talks about how bad it is in North Korea, that she wants her family out of there. And it's a brief little blip. I don't even know. It might become something later, but it's a brief little blip that you think is nothing, but it's like causing international like turmoil,
Right.
because they're like, you put this out that North Korea is this terrible place, and and they could come to China because we would help them, and all this other stuff. And so anyways, it's apparently because of its popularness and its negative light that it shines on North Korea and China, they're not too happy about it.
By the way, for every birthday from here to for the rest of my life, you have to send me a birthday video card of that episode where she gets hit in the face over and over with the dodgeball.
Okay. Done.
That's seriously, that should have
Chanel
been
West Coast, by the way.
that should have been the absolute like that should have been the season finale. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
this is it, this is where the screen goes black on Sopranos.
By the way, I got a last thing before we get into the teachers in the news. I got bamboozled yesterday, man. So at about like 11:30, I had to come down to the office to get my computer. I was like, let me do a little bit of work, knock some stuff out, and I took the boys down here, my kids, ages 5 and 6. And as we get closer to central downtown, I said, it's a little busy. Must have something going on. They did. A big family children's festival.
Yeah,
downtown. Oh my gosh. And my kids were like, can we go? And I was like, yeah, sure. So we ended up, spending like 2-3 hours at this thing, walking around. They went in bouncy houses and went through, huge obstacle courses. They had little bags. Every single booth had candy. It was like trick or treating. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of, excitement. I will say this, though. I was swindled out of a $4 lemonade that I'm 100% positive was just Country Time lemonade, But it was $4 for this giant lemonade. And so my afternoon just coming to get the computer turned into a big, event. And then we went over to the new house. So I bought I didn't buy, I'm renting a new house with Kate. So we went over there and went in and checked it all out. Kids love it. Thing's huge. It's awesome. It's cool. Nice family place in a nice neighborhood. So
Ainsley and I are excited for you guys. We're like, we can't wait to go out to dinner. Just be over there in that area and just say, hey, we're gonna go to dinner. Let's call up the Seed Bowls.
Yeah. Now, bro, let me tell you this. I felt so bad. We're moving in, and moving in was a lot of work. We're winding down. It's kind of dusk. The sun's starting to go down, and Kate and I were pulling out the last few things out of the truck, this big old U-Haul, and she stops, and what terrible luck this is. She looks over and she goes, oh my gosh, look at those cute squirrels. And there was like little teenager squirrels, like smaller than the big ones, and they were hopping and playing all around this tree. And I was like, yeah, that's cute. Greg, the biggest hawk I've ever seen in my entire life took them.
Both of them?
Just grabbed it. No, just this one like baby squirrel just took it. And she goes into hysterics. And I'm like, it's just a circle of life. I don't know what to do, I can't.
When you say hysterics, do you mean like
crying?
Like the time your mom?
No, not like that. I know what you're gonna say. When my mom found out I recorded over the baby videos, no, not like that. No, she was crying, and so she went inside, and she was like obviously shook up. So I'm grabbing a few things, and I come inside. And I literally, this is the worst. Like I thought it couldn't get any worse. This hawk took this baby squirrel, and I said, it's just a circle of life. I don't know what to say.
Let me guess. You got a skylight, and all of a sudden you see its carcass.
Worse.
No, really?
They did not Jurassic Park us. I said it's just a circle of life. I said, there's hawks and everything all around, and I said there's just a lot of birds and stuff. I said we got even trees out back, and I pointed outside, and she looked outside, and the hawk comes swooping down and starts just pulling eyes out of this squirrel, like just yanking its head, like just ripping it to pieces. And she starts screaming and crying even more. And she goes, "Go save it." I was like, "There's no saving this thing." But I went outside and I was like, "Hey, go away." And he went away and she's like, "Is it dead?" I said, "Yeah, it's dead. It's real dead." She goes, "Well, what should we do with it?" I said, "Let him eat it." She goes, "What?" I said, "If we don't, he's still hungry. There's other squirrels." I said, he's just going to go get another one." She's like, "You're probably right." And I was like, "Yeah." And so I left, and sure enough, the hawk and all the hawk's friends came in and just went to town on the squirrel. And I was like, I don't know what to say.
It's like, did you want to dig a hole in the backyard? Because that hawk is sitting there looking. He knows where it's buried.
Well,
he has a shovel in his garage.
Right. But I say we are lucky, very lucky, because, she had a dog and her dog passed away. Now, her dog led a long, wonderful life and passed away recently in old age. And, we're moving to this new house. And I can imagine, like, her dog was a tiny little dog.
Yeah.
This hawk is not playing. Like, this hawk is huge. And I was like, man, I said, we're actually lucky that, your pup passed away, prior to this move, because we wouldn't even be able to put him outside. He'd be gone in a second, and that'd be terrifying. I mean, a squirrel is one thing, but your own dog getting taken away. I mean, I've seen that stuff on YouTube. I couldn't imagine.
You move and she's hanging the last picture, and all of a sudden her dog gets taken. Like, oh, hey, landlord, we decided, no, we're going to take that back.
But so interesting stuff. All right, let's go ahead and jump over into the teachers in the news.
From classrooms to chaos, we searched high and low for the craziest teacher stories this week. Here are your teachers in the news.
All right, Teachers in the News has a pretty interesting story that is one that a lot of people are talking about, is this COVID relief money. So all this money went to the schools. The problem is that the schools haven't been given a lot of guidance on what to do with COVID relief money. They sent them a lot of money, one-time only check, and said, "Here, this is for COVID relief." Now, if you're absolutely the dumbest school district in the entire world, like Polk County is, you save that money for a rainy day fund. Don't give any PPE supplies to any of the teachers. Don't give them hand sanitizer. Don't wipe anything down. And you're essentially a jerk. That's what happened here. But other school districts are spending the money. Now, the problem is that some school districts are spending it on technology, and they're buying new laptops for the teachers, or they're trying to help the teachers with professional developments, or buying them this, buying them that. But they're buying things for the school. Hey, I know we need new dry erase boards. Let's buy them. So the problem is that some of these school districts are paying the teachers with the money, which is fine. You can pay the teachers with the money, but apparently it's hurting the teacher shortage. Because imagine you're a teacher and they're like, "Hey, we're getting you a new blackboard." And you're like, "Awesome, new blackboard." And then your buddy calls you up and he's teaching one school district over, and he goes, "Dude, we're getting a $4,000 raise." And it's like, oh, okay.
I'm going to come work over there.
Exactly. And they said that that's what's happening, is a lot of teachers in these poor school districts that needed the money for the actual schools to repair them and bring things back up to date are now losing teachers to districts that already had the money prior and already have the nice laptops, and now they're able to pay their teachers more. And they said it's not good. But apparently they're saying that they just couldn't complete. There was a Detroit school district itself that said that the teacher pay cuts that apparently happened to their, I guess they slashed their salaries by 25%. Neighboring school districts are making way more. And says that, like, this one teacher left, and she says she's making $23,000 a year more teaching at a neighboring school district.
Damn.
Yeah. So there's not 23 grand to make up for that. But, unfortunately, he says a quarter of the 163 teachers that needed to be fully staffed are not available. 40 vacancies in that particular school. I can't imagine. 40 vacancies. Ugh. So anyways, hopefully they figure that out. Again, it's just, I don't know. It's stuff you get frustrated with. Next one, Lin-Manuel Miranda. How cool is this? You know him, right? Lin-Manuel from Hamilton. Apparently he was doing a fundraiser in Atlanta for a voting rights group and was having dinner at this woman's house. Well, her son, apparently, I guess he stayed the night or hung out there or something like that. Her son decided to skip school and hang out with Lin-Manuel Miranda. So, anyways, Lin-Manuel went on the kid's Twitter, and apparently the son's like, "I'm sorry, I'm missing your U.S. history class because I'm with Lin-Manuel Miranda." And then Lin chimes in, and he said, apparently we. He apparently said, "I'm sorry, your student can't be in U.S. history class right now. He's with me. We're going over the Bill of Rights and anything you may be covering right now." So I don't know, it's kind of cool. But Lin-Manuel apparently vouched for this kid for skipping class, and the teacher freaked out on Twitter and said that's amazing. So apparently,
You're still going to be kind of absent. You're going to have to pick this up on Saturday.
Apparently, you just got to have rich, wealthy parents that can afford Lin-Manuel Miranda to come over to their house. All right. This one, a former San Bernardino teacher is killed in a freak accident, but he is a hero. Driving a rental car down the highway, apparently a concrete screed, a metal tool used to level pour concrete. Like it just looks like a metal level.
Yeah.
Apparently it fell out of the back of a truck that was doing concrete and went straight through the windshield, Final Destination style, and killed this guy, like almost instantly. And but luckily, she said that the wife was in the car with him when he got impaled, and said that he died pretty much instantly, but he was able to pull the car over the side and stop so that she could be safe. So last thing he did was obviously save the wife. They've been married 45 years. I know. So anyways, super sad, but this guy, went out a hero. Hopefully the dump truck, apparently it was a 21-year-old driving it. They did not release his name. The police said he is being cooperative and they're going to investigate the accident. They said that there may be charges that are dropped or charges that are, implemented. You got to try to.
Yeah, but at the same time, man, that kid's got to live with that the rest of his life.
Yeah, hopefully he understands the implications of it. That's the thing I sometimes worry about.
You got to. I mean, double check everything. You got to lock everything down. I mean, it's all about safety. You got to take every step possible for safety. That's why we wear seatbelts too.
Right. Fourth grade teacher passed away from COVID. Days later, they decided to quarantine class. You can't make this stuff up. Fourth grade teacher died on September 27th. So then September 30th, they decided to quarantine the kids. 3 days after the teacher died of COVID, they're transitioning to remote learning. This kind of stuff, sometimes you just go, all right, what are you thinking? Come on. But imagine those kids. Their fourth grade teacher just died. I mean, can you imagine the trauma that is?
Well, at the same time, I'm kind of cool with I remember like a kid in elementary died, and not everybody knew him real well, but we kind of got like just kind of an easy day. Everybody got to go play on the playground and play Monopoly and Oregon Trail and stuff. It was just kind of an easy day. A teacher's like, hey, let's give the kids a break.
Mental health day, sure.
And same thing, I think if you're in elementary and your teacher dies, I don't think you bring in a substitute the next day. You let them kids have a day off so that their parents can put into context what's going on.
Yeah, absolutely. Let the parents, talk it out. But again, just terrible that these kids even have to go through that. Now, what started off, I don't understand. What started off as a very promising article also became very confusing. So apparently in India, they're having a crackdown on this Metoo allegation. So India has had a major problem with rape and it's basically women's rights in India. And they've had that for a long time, but they're starting to have a crackdown. Like they have now serious laws and they're actually punishing these men for these crimes. Well, it also has kind of spilled over into teaching. Apparently, there is a massive movement in India for these Me Too allegations against school teachers. Well, this one, apparently a charge sheet, which, basically charges have been filed against a teacher. And I'm reading this going, good. because apparently the allegations included sending inappropriate messages to children, coming to online class half naked, making obscene comments at students, and 7 students have gave detailed statements to police about sexual harassment that they faced with the teacher. So this guy's got a lot of problems.
It sounds like he needs Nashville.
Yeah, well, apparently charges were filed, and I go, good. I'm glad that we're listening to the students and things are happening.
Is he like the Larry Nasser of teachers? I mean, what the hell?
No. Then I go a little bit further into the article, and I go, because I'm going, okay, good. We're making progress. We're protecting the kids. And then I read the bottom and I go, well, we got a little ways to go, because the allegations against this teacher first surfaced through Instagram over a year ago from a student who was a whistleblower. No action was taken against the teachers by school authorities. Then apparently the school district recognized the complaints only after 1,000 alumni members added pressure demanding the action, and they said they would talk about it. Then the teacher was suspended in May, several months later, after several politicians voiced their concerns about the lack of action. And apparently this person, the actual MP, the actual leaders of the country demanded action, demanded justice, and apparently he had apparently been put back into the classroom during all of this. And then the Union Minister for Education sought appropriate investigation of the matter and probed the lapses and the mechanisms that address these issues. It triggered a series of allegations against the school teacher by other former students. Apparently, additional investigations were carried out, and the charge sheet was officially filed almost a year later.
Man, that is bad.
Yeah. Interesting, though, the charge sheet has been filed with the Ashok Nagar All Women's Police Station. All Women's Police Station. That's an interesting distinction that they have an all women's police station.
Yeah. I don't know why they're not inclusive.
Well, I mean, because of things like this, women aren't being taken seriously.
Yeah, well, that kind of makes sense. I mean, did you get to watch Athlete A on Netflix?
No, I have not watched it.
Bro, I'm telling you, you'll be beating your chest proud of these girls, man.
Good.
It's that one girl, dude. The way the Larry Nasser thing went down is finally there was a female detective that started talking to him, and he always used big medical words and stuff to describe what he, hey, this, it's nothing, and then she's like, yeah, but this doesn't explain why you touched her,
she went the extra mile.
Dude, she did. She went after him, and if I ever met that, they should bring this woman to Comic Cons so people can get her autograph because she's a badass.
That's good, man.
Yeah, watch it, dude. Watch it. If anybody's watching the podcast, watch Athlete A. That is really powerful.
I'll have to check it out. But yeah, so I mean, good that they're making headway in India on some of these issues that are, obviously social issues among them, but bad that these kids aren't being taken seriously off the get-go. All right, man. Now, I got a lot of good stuff coming up. And obviously, follow me on TikTok. I got a lot of videos out there. I just posted a video this past week on why I left teaching. So if you haven't watched that yet, it's got a lot of interesting info and some humor, too, on why I left teaching. It's doing pretty well in terms of views because a lot of teachers apparently relate to it. It's all the comments of, I left, too. I'm out. I left. Honestly, I can't imagine there's any teachers left,
No, believe it or not, there's a lot that are getting into it. I keep meeting people, or my buddy at work, his girl's going into teaching, and there's a lot of first year teachers, and hopefully,
some of them message me though, and they literally want more info because I've had people message me saying I'm going into education. Are you serious? Basically, I watched all your videos. Is it really like that? And I have to be like, yeah, it is, But, obviously I embellish a little bit for the sake of the joke. But truth be told, I mean, some of the stuff that's happened, I haven't even put out yet. I haven't even said in videos, and the things, the mistreatment of teachers and administrators and students and things like that. I mean, that's kind of stuff that you really got to dive into, and if I did a video on all that, it'd probably be 7 hours long.
Well,
so
we need teachers, and unfortunately there are some out there that are willing to go in the trenches right now. And
We need to
my
respect
hat's,
them more.
yeah, my hat's off to the new teachers that are going out there. They're about to go into battle. And
Absolutely. There are teachers that absolutely love their career. There are. And I'm very proud of those teachers. I think that's great. I hope that, we get more teachers like that. But I just think that we're doing a disservice to these teachers that are already in and that are not happy. And we're not finding ways to make them, stay.
because they're the happier the teacher is, the more that they want to reach out to children and change lives.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, a better education for everybody. So who knows? I still personally think this is a big push to get everything privatized, but that's just me. I think they'll let the system collapse. All right. Anyways, let's go ahead and end the show and find me online, devincomedy.com for upcoming tour dates and events. And you, Greg, the Angry Texan Parrot, on all social media. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and we'll be back next week. Crying in my car.
Be sure to subscribe and rate this podcast 5 stars. Submit all your awesome teacher stories to cryinginmycar@gmail.com.